Angels spring training baseball this afternoon from Tempe Diablo Stadium. The Angels are back at their ballpark to take on the Cincinnati Reds from the National League Central. Beautiful day here in the Valley, a little bit overcast skies. Angels back home after a loss yesterday, their first in Cactus League play, as the Angels were beaten by the Chicago White Sox by the final score of 10-2. Terry Smith along with Jose Mota, our pleasure to be with you today. Can't win them all, Jose. The Angels won their first 7 and look to bounce back here today. And today we'll see Garrett Richards on the mound. This will be his first spring appearance for the Angels. Hasn't pitched in a game for the Angels in some 10 months. The right elbow was the concern, and apparently he's back, and we'll find out more today.
He is ready, and you know what? There's some hitters that have complained in the backfields about the big arm of the Angels' projected ace, who's been itching to get on the mound, and boy, we know how electric his stuff can be. And now that he's got the elbow issue behind him, he feels mighty confident things are going to continue to roll in the right direction. Welcome, Garrett Richards, knowing that he was limited to only 6 starts last year, and the Angels, boy, they missed him big time because the year before, terrific, outstanding year, 15-12. Last year on his way again to a solid season before, he was derailed. But now there are some adjustments. Among those are some of the things that Richards needs to be aware of now that he takes the mound here today.
I think just going through this arm injury, I've kind of become more aware of where I want to put my body when I throw the baseball. Just really working on, clean mechanics and trying to throw the ball with as less effort as possible, with getting the same results. I think it's going to help me repeat my delivery better and control counts a little bit better, which will help me go deeper into games. And with a 100-pitch limit, I have to be more efficient this year with attacking the zone. That way I can get into, the 7th, 8th inning.
Well, taking a look at the Angels' projected rotation so far, you see Jesse Chavez, the numbers good in his first spring start. Ricky Nolasco doing a solid job for the Angels. Matt Shoemaker struggled a bit, but a very emotional day for him coming back after the surgery that he had, and everybody just happy to see him go his 2 innings. Yesterday was a tough outing for Tyler Skaggs. He walked 4 of the 6 batters that he faced. Well, Jose, the bullpen now a little bit of a concern for the Angels, and that as a result of the injury to Houston Street.
Houston Street was determined to come in here, have lost weight, in great shape, and wanted to go out there and prove this is my job. I've been the closer for a long time. It is mine. But after 11 pitches in that strikeout, he starts feeling a little tingly in that tricep. So eventually, the medical staff, along with Mike Scioscia, have to visit the mound. And for Houston, a very disappointing start to the spring training, because now it is a lat issue that's going to keep him out from not throwing for 3 or 4 weeks. But with Houston Street limited last season, Terry, as you mentioned, the oblique issue, the knee issue, but from here on, obviously, we'll have to see how he progresses. He is already saying he's going to feel better very soon, and certainly he wants to get a grab at that job very soon to be the Angels' closer.
Well, as far as opening day, kind of keep your fingers crossed as far as the availability for Houston Street. And as far as the Angels bullpen, Mike Scioscia gives us an update.
Yeah, well, we're going to have a very competitive camp for arms in our bullpen, and it'll remain that way. We feel we've got some really good young arms that are going to help us in the back end of our pen, and we're going to have to just see where a guy like Houston folds back in and when he's ready. But up until that point, we feel there's some good arms that are going to fill that void.
That's Angels manager Mike Scioscia. Garrett Richards, the one everyone will be focused on today, Jose. The Angels taking on the Cincinnati Reds here in Tempe. And the Angels trying to bounce back. You're not going to win them all. As we mentioned, Angels are 7-1 this spring, including 5 straight victories here at Tempe Diablo Stadium. When we get back, we will have the lineups, the start of the game on Fox Sports West.
The 7-1 Angels take on the Cincinnati Reds. There's a lot of red around here. Obviously, this wonderful look from Tempe Diablo Stadium. So glad you could join us as Mike Scioscia's Angels take on Price's Cincinnati Reds. For the Reds, leading off at second base is Jose Peraza, a solid young player. He's been with 3 different organizations, but boy, he can really play. He can really run. Zach Cozart, their de facto captain in the infield, is at shortstop batting second. Eugenio Suarez is playing third base batting third. Scott Schebler, former Dodger farmhand, doing a great job. Great finish to his season. He's in right field batting fourth. Dilson Herrera. Herrera is a designated hitter. He's been fighting a bit of a shoulder inflammation, so he has not played the field yet. He is a solid young player himself. Designated hitter Dilson Herrera. Jesse Winker will make the start batting sixth in left field. Desmond Jennings looking for new life and health here now with Cincinnati. Jennings is in center field batting seventh. Tucker Barnhart is a catcher. He'll bat eighth. And batting ninth for Cincinnati at first base is Brandon Dixon. Gary Richards and his Angels take the field here in Tempe Diablo. Yunel Escobar is leading off at third base. Newly passing the test as a U.S. citizen, Escobar is at third base. Batting second, Rojo Cole Calhoun in right field. American League MVP Mike Trout is in center field batting third. Cameron Maben, designated hitter, is batting fourth. Danny Espinosa, clean-shaven Danny Espinosa. The beard is gone. He is at second base batting fifth. Jeffrey Marte is at first base batting sixth. Ben Revere, who's been very solid so far in the spring, is in left field batting seventh. Carlos Perez makes a start behind the plate, batting eighth. And at shortstop, Cliff Pennington. Pennington is batting ninth. So Brandon Finnegan, the former Royal, is on the mound for Cincinnati. Now he converted now as a starting pitcher. Finnegan, the lefty. And Garrett Richards, too. All the expectations and pretty much everybody on their feet watching him from the Angels dugout.
No doubt about that, Jose, and we'll keep our fingers crossed as Richards gets ready to pitch in a game for the first time in a long time for the Angels. Who's in and who's out? It's brought to you by In-N-Out Burgers. That's what a hamburger's all about. And as far as who's in the lineup for the Angels, behind the plate today is Carlos Perez. Martin Maldonado will get a day off. And Jeffrey Marte is in at first base, and out of the lineup today getting a day off is C.J. Cron. The dimensions here at Tempe Diablo Stadium, it goes 340 down the left field side, 360 down the right side, 420 to dead center, and the power alleys here at Tempe Diablo 400 feet. We have overcast skies for baseball here today. A lot of red everywhere here at Tempe Diablo Stadium. Both teams, well, you're going to have to keep track of things out there today, Jose. They're both wearing red jersey tops. The Angels have the white pants. The Reds have the gray pants. So we are just about ready for baseball here as Garrett Richards has wrapped up his warm-up tosses. He's waiting for Jose Peraza to get into the batter's box. Peraza had a solid year last year for the Reds, right-handed batter in the first pitch, and that is in there for a called strike. We are underway, and the count, no balls and one strike.
And for D. Rich, leaves it all behind. Now is his time to get ready for the season and play some baseball.
Here's the next pitch. That's fouled off on the left side. It's the perfect time and temperature for some Major League vino. Bring in Madalena, Cabernet or Chardonnay for the win. Found at the Big A and your favorite retailer. Game time temperature 71 degrees. First pitch today at 12:10 back to Southern California. That one is fouled back behind the plate, and the count, no balls and two strikes. Around the infield, Marte plays first. Espinosa is at second base. He's having a chat with the second base umpire right now. Yunel Escobar is the third baseman, and Cliff Pennington is the shortstop.
The second base umpire going, who's this new guy?
And the next pitch, a little pop into shallow right field. Should be an easy play. Calhoun waits on it. Hit right near him. He'll squeeze it. And that's the game's first out.
Well, let's keep a close eye on the mechanics of Garrett Richards telling us before the game and early in the spring about simplicity, about getting extension, and of course about having to alter some things because, yes, he will be on a pitch count throughout the season. And he says, my intention is not to go out there and think 5 or 6 innings. My intention is to be economical, sacrifice a little of the strikeouts, but pitch deep into games.
So the batter is Cozart, and the first pitch on him gets away and hits him. Hit by the pitch. So the Reds have a 1-out base runner. Cozart couldn't get out of the way, and that one got him right around the left shoulder on the right-handed batter.
Richards still throwing in the 96, 97 range, and at one point he was the one starter in the big leagues that could keep and maintain that average velocity.
We've seen him in the past reach triple digits with his fastball.
Yes, he has. There'll go, of course, a lot of natural movement. His four-seamer will cut in on lefties, and just like that, a four-seamer could run in like it just did there on the last 2 batters, including this one.
There's a fastball that missed inside. The batter is Eugenio Suarez. He's their third baseman. 21 homers last year, 70 driven in, and he played in all but 3 of their games a year ago. Here's the next pitch, and that one is inside. It misses. Richards, his weapons out there on the mound: fastball, sinker, the cutter, and a very good curveball. He kind of has gotten away from throwing his changeup now.
As late as this morning, he told me that's one pitch that because of this issue I need to not use.
And there's one bounced foul. Why would that be, Jose?
Let me tell you, going back to before I answer your question, he and I were talking about Giolito. He worked out with Giolito, who we saw yesterday here in the offseason. He says that guy is a monster. And we're talking about how Giolito found his changeup because after the Tommy John surgery, Giolito found a way, because of the extension he was getting, to get the grip and to finish on his changeup. He says, well, my story is different. I feel like I have to prune the ball too much on my finish to get any effectiveness and movement on my changeup for it to fade or to dive. So he goes, there's something I cannot be torquing my elbow too much. So that's the reason why he's going to ditch that pitch.
So it's 2-2 here on Suarez. Just underway, top of the first inning, no score. 1 out, 1 on.
And the thing with Richards is his stuff is so good when he's on, obviously, that you can throw a 2-seam BP fastball, and that's good enough for a changeup, as many veteran pitchers will do as they progress.
And the next delivery, that's chopped foul on the third base side, so the count stays level. Billy Hatcher, former big league player, the third base coach for Cincinnati. Brian Price, their manager. Mac Jenkins is their pitching coach. There's Brian Price, the manager, had been a major league pitching coach in the past. And the next delivery, trying to hold up, but going around on that one is Suarez. Struck him out, and he fooled him right there. Took something off the fastball.
That slider really is cutting well, and he's got the nice finish. There it is. Carlos Perez knows as tough as Richards is to catch, you have to be aware of so much in terms of late movement and spin. Carlos did a very fine job staying with that low pitch.
So here is Schebler, left-handed batter, 26 years old, hit .265 in 82 games, played about half of the Reds games a year ago. And here's the pitch. He cuts and misses that one. Counts 0-1.
Very strong young man from Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Jim Wolf is calling balls and strikes. The other umpires on the bases today: Jerry Davis, Jim Reynolds, and Rob Drake, veteran crew here today. Next pitch, and that's low and inside. Stopped by Carlos Perez. The top of the first inning. It's being brought to you by Rennick Subaru. For Subaru and the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Think Rennick first. RENICK Subaru.com. Here's the next delivery, the 1-1, and it's tapped on the third base side, a foul ball. 2 outs, 1-2 now, the count on Schebler.
We're talking about these young players the Reds do have, among them Schebler, who was very encouraging on the way he finished the season last year. 2 home runs, 15 RBIs in the month of September, where he hit .337. The Reds really like his presence in the batter's box
Hands close to the body. Very explosive. With a short swing with plenty of pop.
Angels record this spring, 7-1. The Reds come into the ball game. They have just 3 wins and 6 losses. There's a toss over to first base. The Reds started off the spring dropping their first 6 in a row, and they come here having won 3 straight. They had a victory yesterday against the Kansas City Royals. Reds played on Friday against the Cubs at Mesa, and they had over 15,000 for that game, a sellout crowd. And a big draw here in the Valley, and there's a slow breaking ball that freezes the batter, and out looking is Schebler. Back-to-back strikeouts for Richards, and the inning is over. Looked good in the first inning. We're headed to the bottom of the first with no score on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. So we go to the bottom of the first inning with no score, and left-hander Brandon Finnegan, the Reds starting pitcher today, has completed his warm-up tosses. He was 10-11 last year for the Reds. Made 31 starts, had an ERA of 3.98. He once compared himself to C.J. Wilson, former Angels pitcher who has now retired.
Well, hopefully he's hoping for a better ending to his career health-wise. His career is just beginning.
Yeah. Finnegan was originally with Kansas City, came over to the Reds, and his first pitch today, Yunel Escobar is taking, that's in there, a called strike. No wind at all to speak of here today as we're underway at Tempe Diablo Stadium. Angels have another home game tomorrow, and the pitch lifted in the air in the right field, circling under is Schebler. Routine play for him out there and right, and that'll be the first out. Escobar is retired. He's gone 1 for 10 so far this spring, and here's Cole Calhoun.
Well, taking a look at Terry Finnegan, who came into the big leagues as a youngster right out of TCU and into the postseason with the Royals. But a very particular way he gets set up, and we see more and more about more pitchers are working this way. Almost like they're throwing from the stretch, but this is a windup with a sidestep quick, stay over the mound, keep that balance, and fire away.
So here's the first one on Calhoun, and the pitch is in there for a called strike.
And for somebody that has a good changeup like he does, just think about how he wants his changeup to cross the plate. Is it's fading and tailing away, giving him a larger margin for swings and misses or rollouts.
Here's the next delivery, and that one is lifted high in the air into right center field. Chasing after it out there in right center is Desmond Jennings, who's trying to win a spot with the Reds. Former Tampa Bay player, and he makes the catch on that one for the second out. Well, hit pretty well, but Jennings can cover ground out there in center, and here's Mike Trout.
And the ball's starting to carry nice and farther here in Arizona. We saw that yesterday on display with the way the White Sox banged the ball around.
Trout getting ready to bat. He's had 4 official at-bats with 2 hits. He's also had 3 walks.
He's doing a great job in tracking the baseball. He's very proud about that.
Here's the pitch. That's high and away. The Angels so far having a solid spring, a 7-1 record, but have had only 2 home runs in the first 8 games.
As you know, they come in bunches.
Next pitch on Trout, a little pop on the right side. It's going to drop foul down the right side.
Not that the Angels are going to be known as a home run hitting team, but certainly a team that we've seen through the years will go through these droughts without hitting home runs, and all of a sudden everybody gets hot at the same time. It's not a team designed to be thinking about home runs, especially playing half of the games at the Big A.
Here's the 1-1 delivery, and that's a little bit low. Looks like Keith Johnson is coaching first base today for the Angels.
Fredo in the backfield already, I guess. Actually, Alfredo's on his way to Florida to join Team Dominican Republic for the World Baseball Classic. He's one of their coaches.
That explains it. And here's the pitch. That's hit well into left field, and it's out by the rim of the track, and that ball just kind of dies a little bit out there as Winkler will make the catch on it. Trout is retired. Got it off the end of the bat a little bit. It jumped off the bat, but didn't go quite as far as you might have thought. So that'll do it. Trout is retired. The Angels go down 1-2-3 here in the bottom of the first. We've completed 1 quick inning with no score on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Garrett Richards ready for inning number 2, his first appearance here in the Cactus League in 2017, and the delivery, it's a line shot that gets past the third baseman Escobar. Took a bounce right next to him and just tried to go down and stab at it. Ball got away, and that's going to be a base hit for Dilson Herrera. First ball swinging.
That's a quick bat and turning in a fastball. Stayed out over the plate. More of a true four-seamer. Not a whole lot of movement. And when you're guarding the bunt, Escobar is only smiling over there going, well, I'm glad that did not come right at me.
So here is Jesse Winkler. He is a left-handed batter and had some pretty good numbers in the minors last year, rookie ball, and then after an injury issue, he joined their AAA club, and he ended up combining to hit 308. 1 ball, no strikes to count on Winkler. He's one of their top prospects. They were hoping for more power out of him, though, especially last season where the numbers dropped in that department. He had only 5 home runs last season. So it's 2 balls and no strikes. Pretty patient hitter. Had a high on-base percentage in the minors last season, .397. And the next delivery, he lines that one into right center field. That's going to fall a foot or so in front of Cole Calhoun. So a base hit there for Winkler, and both batters have hit the ball hard here in the second inning against Richards. 2 on, nobody out. Desmond Jennings, the next batter.
It's a good job on the way Cole Calhoun attacked that ball, because Dilson Herrera had to freeze as Calhoun was almost looking at like he was going to make an attempt to dive and catch that baseball. And stopping Herrera at second base.
So here is Jennings, who's trying to hook on after signing a minor league deal with the Cincinnati Reds, longtime member of the Tampa Bay Rays. 30 years old. Hit only .200 last year with Tampa Bay, and he takes that one low and inside.
I think many people around baseball are still waiting for that day, Terry, with this talented young man to just stay on the field for a full season. Joel Madden was raving about Desmond Jennings when he had him over in Tampa Bay, but just could not stay healthy.
The pitch in there when he first joined the Rays, he was getting a lot of comparisons to Carl Crawford, and unfortunately for Jennings, his career is starting to follow the same path as Carl Crawford, who really ended up fizzling out.
And the big difference is Crawford did have some productive all-star years. Jennings still has not.
There's a pitch that comes in and nearly got a piece of him, and that one gets by the catcher Perez all the way back to the backstop. That's going to be a wild pitch. So runners at second and third, nobody out, and it's a 2-1 count.
Let's see, still is Carlos working with Garrett, trying to find out where that ball's going. Sometimes that four-seamer, again, as I mentioned earlier, could cut. And then you're running away from the righty or run in more on the righties, has done here 3 times today.
Here's the 2-1 delivery with the infield in, and that is way high and inside for a ball. Richards throwing that wild pitch, and the guy, when he was healthy with the Angels, he was known to throw a lot of wild pitches. He led the American League a couple years ago with 22. Had 17 of them in the 2015 season, and on the 3-1 pitch, that one is in there for a strike. So 3 balls, 2 strikes. Runners at second and third, nobody out. Second inning, and we're scoreless here in Tempe. Richards ready, the pitch, and just getting a piece of that one is Jennings as he fouls it off. That was pitch number 25 of the day for Garrett Richards.
Charles Nagy, Angels pitching coach, along with Mike Scioscia, just keeping a close eye, and what I see is a guy that's able to stay smooth through his delivery. So far, been able to repeat landing spots with a more straight path towards home plate.
Here's the payoff pitch, and he had him reaching again. It's popped in a shallow right field. Coming in hard is Cole Calhoun. Will make the catch, and the runner is going to have to hold at third base. It was hit shallow and tight to the line down that right side. So it's a first out. Tucker Barnhart, the Reds catcher, will be the next batter.
That is a solid major league play, because Cole Calhoun knows the ball is slapped up in the air. He's got 2 guys coming after it. He's got that second and third running situation. Clearly and early made it known he's got control of it, and there's no attempt not needed at all from the guy at third base in trying to score.
So the Angels will keep the infield in. Barnhart, a switch hitter, bats left. And here's the pitch, and he chops that one through into right center field. That's an RBI hit. One is in. They're going to wave another one home as the ball almost stopped rolling Once it got into very shallow right center, wasn't hit hard at all, but with the infield in, the right side of the infield, Danny Espinosa had no play on that one. That'll be a 2-run single, and it's 2-0 Cincinnati.
I'll give it to the Reds, and fastballs that he's missed out over the plate. They are putting some good swings on it. So far, he's thrown a couple of very good sliders. Still trying to find the right command. And with Carlos and the way he's situating behind the plate, is pretty much a let's play catch here today. Get your feet wet.
So the batter is Brandon Dixon, who's up from their minor league camp for this ball game, and the first pitch in there for a called strike. They've given him a number of at-bats so far this spring. He's 2 for 14 with a run batted in.
Solid season of Pensacola last year. 12 home runs and 65 RBIs.
And the next delivery, and that one is fouled off.
That's what I'm talking about. I think these young hitters are now with Herrera, Winker, and Barnhart feeding off, saying, get ready. His stuff is really good. But boy, if you get something like this swing, last swing told you, go out there and air it out. Some hungry youngsters.
Pitch number 30 so far for Richards, bounces in front of the catcher Carlos Perez. Breaking for second and beating the throw will be Barnhart, the catcher. So once that one bounced in, that's when Barnhart took off, and he ends up at second base.
Be another wild pitch here for Garrett Richards. Once again, Carlos Perez centering the body. So much spin with that break. So many revs in the spin. The breaking balls by Richards make it extremely tough to be a catcher for him.
There's the 1-2 pitch. That is hit by the mound and through into center field. Barnhart's going into third. He's going to be waved home. No throw by Trout. It's an RBI hit for Dixon, and it's a 3-0 Cincinnati lead. So they've used 4 singles in this inning and a couple of wild pitches to score their 3 runs so far in the inning. Still just 1 out.
Well, that big swing that he took and he fouled the ball off just told you about the confidence level the number 9 hitter brought into the hole at bat. Going through the middle. A big part of the field has been the approach here for the Reds, other than the liner pulled by Herrera down the third base side to begin the inning.
The Angels do have action in the bullpen, and the next delivery, it's chopped right to Espinosa. He flips to second for 1. The relay throw by Pennington to first will double up the batter Peraza, and the inning is over on the double play. 4-6-3 will wrap things up here in the second. It's likely it for Garrett Richards as he throws a couple of innings today, throwing just 2 pitches over 30 in this ballgame. We are headed to the bottom of the second. 3-0 Reds on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Bottom of the second, Cameron Maben will lead it off for the Angels, who trail 3-0. This spring, you can find your escape route off-road with great deals on a new Jeep. Head into your local Jeep dealer for the Jeep Spring Clearance event. It's going on now. So Maben is the batter, his first time up, facing the lefty Finnegan, who's working now with a 3-run lead. In the first pitch, he takes it for strike one. Cam Maben batting cleanup today for the Angels, and the next pitch, he chops this one right to short. It's gobbled up there by Cozart, and he will get him. So Maben still hitless so far in the early going at spring training. 0 for 7, 1 quick out, and Danny Espinosa, the clean-shaven Danny Espinosa, and boy, I wonder how long it took to shave that beard off.
How many steps? Wow. It was thick and dark.
Hopefully he didn't cut his cheek at all, because that was about as thick a beard as you'll ever see.
Danny looks a little lighter today and a little younger.
Here's the pitch, and that is a pitch he goes after, and pitch he misses for strike one.
There's a changeup. You can see how diagonally is cutting across the plate, fading to the very tip of the upper half of the plate there, and Espinosa swinging right over the top of that. That's what working from the side of the mound that Finnegan works from makes that changeup even more efficient.
Here comes the 1-0, and it's popped high in the air behind the plate. Barnhart is going back, and he's going to run out of room. It's about 6 or 7 rows back. I want to remind you, this copyrighted broadcast presented by authority of Angels Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Angels Baseball. Terry Smith, Jose Mota, and our producer engineer Jorge Sevilla with you here at Tempe Diablo Stadium. Finnegan is set, and here's his next pitch, and that is a swing and a miss, and down on strikes goes Espinosa. Chased a high fastball there.
That was a great setup type of at bat for the pitches he used on Espinosa. Change at first pitch. Little slider, second pitch fouled out. So in other words, he had that bat way slower to get him ready for the fastball, which of course is a bit of a surprise for Espinosa with that count.
So the batter now is Marte, and the pitch is right in there on him for strike one. He was taking. Jeffrey's gone 4 for 15 so far this spring. Couple of runs batted in. Right-handed batter. And here's the next pitch. That is on the outside part of the plate. There's a called strike.
There's some good tailing action on that one. And a very good job by Barnhart framing that for home plate umpire Jim Wolf.
And here's the 0-2, and that one misses high. Well, the Angels taking on the Reds today. Reds with the legendary radio broadcaster Marty Brennaman. He's a few doors down from us. He came in joking this morning saying, "The big red machine is here today, fellas. We've won our last 3 in a row in the Cactus League." And there's a pitch that is inside on Marte.
Legendary, yes sir. He makes his presence felt. And I've had a chance to work many national games with his son Tom Brennaman.
Yeah.
Who's also part of the broadcast team.
Known that family for a long time, back to the days in Ohio. And here comes the 2-2. This is hit well down the left field side. Winkler is chasing, and that ball is out of here. Home run. Jeffrey Marte connects. That's his first long ball this spring. Actually, the Angels haven't been hitting a lot of home runs, but it's been pretty cool and windy for a lot of the games so far. That's not the situation today weather-wise, and Marte lines one out in a hurry. Angels get on the board. It's 3-1 Cincinnati.
So Finnegan decided to go with the different approach against Marte later in the count. He went off speed. Marte was more anticipating than Espinosa and did a very good job in just tracking and finishing off the swing. Great follow through the path through the zone. Marte, no stranger to home runs himself.
There's a pitch that is inside on Revere. The Angels' first hit of the day leaves the ballpark.
Marte led the Angels with those 258 at-bats last year and at-bat per home run ratio.
Here's the next pitch, and that's inside on Revere's having a nice spring. 5 for 11, hitting over 450. And he's driven in a pair of runs. Ben Revere has always been a good hitter when he's healthy, and last season he wasn't healthy with the Nationals.
And it showed Terry that something was really wrong. This is a 285 career hitter.
Yep. Led the National League in hits just a few years ago, 2014. And the pitch, that's inside, and he walks on 4 pitches. So after the homer, a 2-out walk, the inning continues, and Carlos Perez getting set for his first at bat today.
To say hello to former Angel Jimmy Anderson. Terry, always see Jimmy around the ballpark. He's got a group of Angels fans listening and watching this ball game back in Southern California. J.A.
Wow, so it's kind of a watch party, or what?
It is.
Okay, all right. Yeah, we've
Terry
seen
Smith fans.
Jim Anderson at the ballpark for many years here, and there's a pitch on the outside part of the plate. That's a called strike on Perez.
So your fan club is all gathered at this house, Terry.
Well, how was it that you knew about this, but I didn't know
We
about
wanted
it?
to surprise you.
Now it's starting to click in, Jose. Here's the 0-1, and that's a little bit outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. The cloud cover was prevalent earlier today. Now the sun trying to crack through the clouds. A little bit of sunshine here.
Good guy to run on. 15 stolen bases allowed last season by Finnegan.
And the next delivery, it's hit pretty well into left center, but it's playable, and Jennings is a good defender out there to make the grab, and that is how the inning will end. So the Angels settle for the 1 run on the homer by Marte, his first this spring. Angels also leave a runner on. We've completed 2 innings. It's 3-1 Reds on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Jose Alvarez is going to take over for the Angels out on the mound as we head to the 3rd. It's 3-1 Cincinnati. So the numbers on Garrett Richards: 2 innings. He allowed 4 hits, 3 runs earned, no walks, 2 strikeouts, hit a batter, and 2 wild pitches. So here's Alvarez getting set to work, and for Jose, this will be his 3rd appearance. He'll be joining Team Venezuela, the World Baseball Classic club, and they are going to train in Surprise. So we'll make his final appearance for the Angels here today, and then he'll be back following the run by the Venezuelan team in the World Baseball Classic. Here's the pitch. This is popped in the air on the right side. A lot of people are chasing Cole Calhoun, the right fielder, in fair ground. Not too far away from the line. Shallow right. Calls off Marte, and Espinosa makes the grab. And that's out number 1. Fans, don't forget, join the Angels for spring training here at Tempe Diablo Stadium on March the 24th. The Angels will take on the Seattle Mariners. Fans will enjoy a post-game concert performance by Gavin DeGraw. Visit angels.com/promotions to purchase your tickets today. And that game is going to start at 5:10. And we haven't.
Under the lights.
I've never seen the Angels play a game under the lights here at Tempe Diablo Stadium.
We're going back 16 years.
Yeah.
The only night game you and I have witnessed here was Notre Dame.
College game, that's right.
Years ago.
That's when Mike Scioscia's son Matt was playing for the Fighting Irish.
There's some newer lights installed since then.
Here's a pitch on its way. This one is lifted in the air into left center field. It's a lazy fly ball off the bat of Suarez, and Trout will make the catch on that one. 2 easy outs. And Schebler will be the batter. Mentioned the start time. It'll be 5:10 local time for that kind of pseudo night game, if you will.
Sure, Terry, bring your neighbors. Stay here.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. We've never seen the Angels play a spring training night game at Tempe Diablo Stadium, and it'll be part afternoon, part night. There's one that's a little bit low and inside.
Through the years, we've had quite a few in, let's see, Goodyear. Surprise, especially Surprise against the Rangers or the Royals.
Yep.
No team plays more night games in spring training than the New York Yankees.
That's right. That one is fouled off. The Giants, don't they play some night games occasionally in Scottsdale? Or no, they've played some games.
Recently had one against the Dodgers, actually.
1 ball, 1 strike on Schebler. 3rd inning. It's 3-1 Reds. 2 outs, no one on. And lefty Jose Alvarez pitching. He misses with that one. It's 2 balls and a strike.
So Jose Alvarez, Deolis Guerra, and Yusmeiro Petit will make the short drive after today's game. Up to Surprise to put on another uniform. And one that they wear with tremendous pride.
Here's the next pitch, and trying to hold up on that one was Schebler. He went around. That was a good pitch on the outside part of the plate. Alvarez throws the fastball, sinker, slider, has a cutter, curve, a good changeup. So a lot of different pitches he'll use out there on the mound. He's had a couple of scoreless innings so far this spring. And the 2-2. Just got a piece of it, fouling it back behind the plate.
Terry, he's one of those guys. He's on your team, and he's so quiet. And assuming you don't even know he's on. And goes out there and time after time does his job. You can leave him in there for 1 hitter if you need to, or more than 3 outs at need. Really turned his season around last year when he got demoted and altered his delivery a little bit more coming across.
Here's the next pitch. It's a fly ball that's lifted into left center field. Chasing hard, but unable to get to it is Mike Trout. That ball is out by the wall. On the warning track, Trout picks it up, fires it back to the infield, but not before Schebler has a 2-out triple. So the runner at 3rd with 2 away. Herrera, who singled his first time up, will be the next batter.
Scott Schebler talking about him and how strong he is. Man, he's got some mighty hands, and allowing the ball to travel and then snapping compact all the way around. Has the ability to get those elbows tucked in and explode right through the zone.
That was only Schebler's 2nd hit this spring, 2 for 14. And here's the pitch, and that's in there for a called strike.
As time passes, Terry, and new generations come, but without Brandon Phillips, a different look here to the Cincinnati Reds.
Here's the next delivery, and that's a ground ball sharply hit by the third baseman Escobar. The ball went right over the third base bag. It's rolling down in the left field corner. Revere just getting to it, and by the time he gets it back to the infield, Herrera has an RBI double, and the Reds extend their lead to 4-1. Well, Alvarez got the first two easily, and then back-to-back two-out extra base hits.
Seems like that's been an approach by the Reds here. They did it against Richards after 4 batters, 2 strikeouts in that first inning. They absolutely started getting more aggressive and not missing pitches. Pretty good idea on what they were swinging at and how to control those swings. Dilson Herrera from Colombia, one time a Met. Terry and Ernesto Frieri told me about Dilson Herrera about 4 years ago. When he was with the Angels, he said, hey, keep an eye on this kid with the Mets. He's going to be a good player.
Yeah, he's having a real good spring for the Reds. 7 for 12, and he's driven in 5 runs.
He's not going to be able to play for Team Colombia because of the shoulder inflammation.
So Winkler's the batter, left-handed hitter, and that pitch, he takes it for strike 1. Herrera is the 2-out base runner at second base. He played in AAA for both the Reds and the Mets systems a year ago. And he's not that big of a guy. He goes about 5'10", the base runner out there. One ball, 2 strikes now on Jesse Winkler, and here's the next delivery. It's lifted in the air on the left side. Escobar in foul ground is under, and he'll make the catch, and the inning is over. The Reds add on, though. They get their 4th run in the game. A couple of 2-out extra base hits producing that run, and they leave a runner on at second. We are headed now to the bottom of the 3rd inning. 4-1 Cincinnati on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. We move to the bottom of the 3rd inning in Tempe. 4-1 Cincinnati. Fans, long live the hard-working, the proud, the tenacious, and long live the trucks that are as dependable as the people that drive them. Right now, get a great deal during Ram Truck Month. So Cliff Pennington will start it off for the Angels as we start the bottom of the 3rd inning. This will be his first time up. And here's the pitch, and that one on Pennington is a little bit low. The Reds have already had 6 players bat twice in this game, and Pennington just stepping up for the first time in the ballgame. Here's the next pitch, and that's low and away. 2 balls, no strikes. Next pitch, and that one is a pitch that's fouled back on the right side out of play.
Brandon Finnegan, a young player who came out of college and immediately thrown into the fire for the big leagues in the postseason back in 2014. He pitched in 7 games for the Royals, all the way from the wild card game, Division Series, League Championship Series, and the World Series. 6 innings, allowed 7 earned runs.
Next pitch on Pennington misses. 3-1 is the count. And here's the 3-1 delivery. It's lifted in the air into center field. Jennings is there waiting under. He will put it away, and that's the first out. So the Angels will send up the top of the batting order now. Yunel Escobar will bat. One player who's in the Reds camp, and as far as the players they brought here today, we will not see him. He did not make the trip, is Bronson Arroyo, who's on the comeback trail. Signed a minor league deal. He has yet to pitch this spring for Cincinnati.
He did some great things as a Red a few years back, but the injuries took a toll on him.
Yeah, he was about as reliable a pitcher as there is from a injury standpoint, and had never been on the disabled list until he hurt his elbow back in the 2014 season, and then had, as Jose mentioned, the Tommy John surgery, and he hasn't pitched since. All-star and a Gold Glover.
Now he's tried, but he has suffered a few setbacks on his way back. Really wanted to rejoin the Reds, so they finally agreed to a deal to bring him into camp on a minor league deal.
Yeah. 0-2 the count on Escobar.
Here's a guy that you gave the baseball 32 times, go out there and eat up 6, 7, 8 innings.
Here's the next delivery. It's sliced the opposite way into right. That's going to fall in for a base hit. So the Angels have their second hit today. 1-out single for Escobar. Just his second hit so far this spring. And the batter now will be Cole Calhoun. Let's pause for station identification here on the Angels Baseball Radio Network. Jerry Smith, Jose Mota. Our producer engineer is Jorge Sevilla. We're at Tempe Diablo Stadium. The Angels playing game 9 of the Cactus League. 7-1 record, but trailing here today 4-1. Toss over to first. Escobar back. He is not a base stealer. Did not have any a year ago. Lefty-lefty matchup here as Calhoun awaits the pitch, and here it comes. It's fouled off on the left side, backing out of play. One of the players the Reds did bring here to Tempe Diablo is Tyler Mahle, who is the brother of Greg Mahle, and he is a very highly thought of prospect in the Reds organization. Tyler Mahle, he was a 14-game winner last year between A and AA. Here's a high fly ball that's lifted well into right center field. That one is out by the scoreboard and off it out of here. Home run, Cole Calhoun. His first this spring. 2-run shot, and the Angels have crept back into the ballgame. It's now 4-3 Cincinnati.
That is Cole Calhoun de Rojo at his best. Always solid against lefties. Hit close to 300 against southpaws last year. Nice and smooth swing right on that baseball.
Yeah, that was a nice, easy swing right there. Got it out by the scoreboard in right center. So here's Trout. Angels down by just a run. Pair of home runs so far in the first 3 innings allowed by Finnegan. The Angels had had only 2 homers in their first 8 games this spring.
Finnegan did allow 29 home runs last year in those 31 starts in 172 innings.
There's one that's fouled back on the right side, out of play. We have a nice crowd here today. We were hearing maybe in the 4,000 range, but I think there's been a very good walk-up for this ball game. This place, this might be the best home crowd so far this spring for the Angels.
Well surrounded. All the way into the back fields this morning was real busy.
Here's the 1-1, and that one is outside on Mike Trout. 2-1 to count.
In all fairness to Finnegan, out of those 29 home runs, 17 were hit at the very cozy ballpark where the Reds play.
Here's the next pitch, and it is fouled back to the screen by
which is a
Mike Trout.
hitter's paradise, and it could be a pitcher's nightmare.
Yeah, Great American Ballpark is certainly known as a hitter's friendly ballpark. Mentioned the home runs allowed last year by Finnegan, and gave up nearly 30 of them. Get to it after the 2-2. Trout takes high. It's a full count. Reds relievers last season, Jose, their relievers allowed 103 home runs. The most ever by a bullpen in a single season in Major League history.
That's a lot of falling behind and putting the pitches up in the zone, and the opponents knowing that trend.
Here's one foul back. I mean, that's almost hard to imagine your bullpen could give up that many home runs in a season. And again, it had never been done in Major League history until last year. And their bullpen ERA last year was 5.09. And the bullpen ERA was the second worst in the majors last year.
In a bullpen that was utilized a lot. A lot of young starters for the Reds.
Here's the next pitch. Trout got under that one, and it's a high pop on the left side. The shortstop will go back, and making the grab on it is Kozar. Boy, that's a pitch right there. You got to think Trout would have liked to have had back. That's the second out.
You're right. That pitch beat him. And it was a spin where Trout saw break a ball. As I always say, he is good at dipping that shoulder, and then the ball was on him before he knew it. Perhaps an overspinning or even overthrowing by Finnegan was quite beneficial to him on that occasion.
So here's Cam Maben, who grounded out his first time up. Finnegan probably will go 3 innings. They already have action in their bullpen. The pitch is a ball. The pitch count for Finnegan, 43 pitches at the moment. The Angels are going to face these Reds again in a few more days on Wednesday. The Angels will face Cincinnati, and that'll be a game in Goodyear, the spring training base of both the Reds and the Indians.
Official count on Garrett Richards, 32 pitches. 15 in the first inning.
Maben was taking the next delivery, and that's in there, so it's a 1-2 count on Maben, who's DHing today. Here's the pitch, and that's a fastball that misses high. So a 2-2 count. Danny Espinosa would be up next. And the 2-2. Swing and a miss. High fastball got him, struck him out, and that will end the inning. Strikeout the second in the ballgame for Finnegan, who likely has thrown his final pitch today. In the inning, though, the Angels get a pair on the 2-run homer by Cole Calhoun. And as we get ready to move to the 4th inning, it's a 4-3 Cincinnati lead on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Angels will make a pitching change. Pitcher number 3 of the day is Deolis Guerra, as he is just about ready to work. Guerra replaces his countryman Jose Alvarez, and those two, as we were talking about earlier, will represent Venezuela in the World Baseball Classic. So ready to work is Guerra. And here's the pitch, and that one is in there for a called strike. Nothing in 1 is the count. Here's the next delivery, and Jennings takes that one for ball 1. It's 1 ball, no strikes.
Hope to see more of Guerra incorporating the slider, curveball, and cut fastball. He's trying to use more to spread the plate on the outer half against right-handers.
Here's the delivery, and that's high and inside.
Truly a dependable arm for Mike Scioscia last year. And Guerra went through something quite strange even at the end of last spring, Terry, when he was claimed by the Angels. He was put on waiver by the Angels, cleared waivers, re-signed to a minor league deal, and eventually made his way back to the big leagues after a cup of coffee with the Pittsburgh Pirates. But a guy that Mike Scioscia knew he could go to, especially against lefties. His numbers were amazing. Splits, righties, and lefties.
Here's his next pitch. Jennings fouling that one off on the right side, backing out of play.
But he does need something running away from right-handers.
Guerra's 3rd appearance this spring. 2 innings. He's allowed 3 hits and 2 earned runs. Here's the next pitch. That's fouled off right near the booth beside us here. So it's a 2-2 count. One thing about Guerra, and it's been the story so far in his limited action this spring, he is a strike thrower. Just 7 walks last year and 53 1/3 innings. Here's his 2-2, and that's low. So he has worked a full count here on Jennings. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
I remember last year the countdown was it took Guerra over 20 innings to walk a first batter in the big leagues. And that walk was to Mark Trumbo.
So we'll see what happens here on the payoff pitch. Guerra set. Little extra time. He delivers, and that one just missed. That was a close pitch to take, but there you go. Guerra has walked the batter. And the next hitter stepping up will be Barnhart. He singled in a pair of runs for them back in their 3-run second inning. Fans, don't forget, get your red on, become a season seat holder to enjoy exclusive benefits and the same seats all season long at the greatest value. Visit angels.com/season seats or call 714-4ANGELS for more info. Here's a shot back to the mound. Guerra picks the ball back up, fires the second, relay to first just late. Boy, that ball was drilled right back at Guerra, and now they're going to check and make sure he's okay. That ball got a piece of him and then dropped right in front of him, and the Angels almost turned a double play. That was pretty close.
A big man from Venezuela does a good job on his follow through and the ball finding him. But he kept his composure, no panic. Start with the baseball, press down at that baseball on the ground or on the dirt, and make sure you get that first out. Well defended there by the Oldies in that reaction.
So Guerra tells everybody he's okay.
So he says, estoy bien. Todo bien. Tranquilo.
He's fine. I'm fine.
As you told me many times, hey, Jose, tranquilo, man.
So here is Brandon Dixon. And he's their 9-hole hitter, and he has a single so far today. And a ball got loose in left field. A pitcher warming up to the Reds down that left side. Their bullpen is open air, runs alongside the left field foul line. Ball got away from the bullpen catcher. Now everyone's set, and with 1 out, here's the pitch. little bit low and away. It misses. 1 ball, no strikes. Garrett Richards, the Angels starter today. He went 2 innings. He allowed 4 hits, 3 runs earned. No walks. He hit a batter through 2 wild pitches and struck out 2 and through 32 pitches. That's on the outside part of the plate. That's a called strike.
Dixon is one of those guys against Richards that are very good at bat, going right through the box. Get him his RBI. Like Schebler. Back close to the body. Strong hands.
Next delivery, it's taken, and that's on the outside corner. Called strike.
He keeps looking changeup. He's loading up for the changeup, and Guerra has surprised him with a couple of fastballs.
One out, 1 on. Reds up by 1, 4-3 here in the 4th. And the pitch, that's low and outside. 2-2 is the count. Calling all Angel fans and runners. Join us on April the 22nd for the Angels 5K and Family Fun Run. It's presented by St. Joseph Hoag Health. Participants get a t-shirt, a medal, a ticket voucher for select 2017 Angels home game. Proceeds benefit the Angels Baseball Foundation. And the next delivery, it's hit the third. Could be 2. Second for 1. But the throw to first base is wide and by Marte. So the Angels have had a couple of opportunities here to turn a double play. Haven't done it. And that throw to first base trying to complete the double play ended up going over by the photo well. So the batter, Dixon, will be awarded second base.
Donny Espinosa has a rocket of an arm. And it's going to be a challenge for some Angels first basemen as they get used to his angles, how hard he throws, and obviously how much the ball moves. Good job by Yunel Escobar starting the play. And for Marte, anticipating something coming at him or to his left, the ball took off on him like a cutter to his right side.
So Espinosa will be charged on that relay throw to first with an error, enabling the batter to take second.
Again, Espinosa's arm was clocked the highest among shortstops last year in the National League on a consistent basis.
And the next delivery, this is Peraza at the plate. Lifts a lazy fly ball to right center. Cole Calhoun is under. He'll make the grab, and that will end the inning. So they had a few base runners. In fact, the first 3 batters all reach base in some fashion here in the inning, but the inning ends with only 4 batters faced. No runs, no hits, a walk, couple fielder's choices, a fly out, and the inning is over. We're headed to the bottom of the 4th. The Angels are trailing the Reds 4-3 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. New pitcher in the ballgame for the Reds as we head now to the bottom of inning number 4. So Finnegan, their starter, went the first 3. And Raisel Iglesias is the new pitcher, and the first delivery, this one on Danny Espinosa. He was taking it. It's in there for a strike.
He is a young, talented Cuban. Many angles, good velocity. He'll drop down. He'll go over the top. He will have some gestures out there. Very animated guy out there, Terry. He's a character.
Yeah. He was their opening day starting pitcher last year, and then eventually landed in the bullpen, and he was closing some games for them as it turned out. We mentioned how their bullpen struggled a year ago. 1-1 is the count.
And sometimes those struggles, Terry, take you to think outside the box.
Right. And the Reds have been talking about maybe using Iglesias and Michael Lorenzen, who has the connection back to Southern California, former closer for Cal State Fullerton, using each of those 2 relievers in multi-inning save situations this year.
You can have a guy go 2 and have the other go 2.
Yeah. So they are kind of thinking out of the box, and I guess you got to do that when you look to address an area of concern, and that was certainly their bullpen a year ago. Here's one chopped on the right side, scooped up by Peraza, and the second baseman will throw out the Angels' second baseman, Danny Espinosa. That's the first out. The numbers on Finnegan, their starter. He worked 3 innings, and the Angels had 3 hits against him, 3 runs. 2 of those 3 hits were homers, Marte and Calhoun. 1 walk allowed by Finnegan. Strikeout department 2. And mentioning Marte, here he is batting with a home run, his only time up, and he takes that pitch in there for a called strike.
And there's one of those multiple angles that Iglesias will use. Dropping the frisbee on Jeffrey Marte.
And the next pitch from Iglesias, that one is low. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Reds signed him to a 7-year deal. And that was back in June of 2014 when he fled Cuba. And they signed him to a $27 million deal. 2 balls and 1 strike, the count.
Made him a rich man very quickly. Could turn out to be a bargain. Or who knows where this all goes with some of the unproven Cuban talent.
Here's the next pitch. This is chopped on the left side. Stopped there by the shortstop, and Cozart's throw is in time. Suarez, the third baseman, cut in front of Cozart, but he makes the play. And a couple of ground ball outs. Ben Revere will be the next hitter.
One thing the Reds do know is they have time to keep developing him, and they're committed to him, and he's committed to them for a long time. The Cubs did with Jorge Soler. Dodgers, same thing with Yasiel Puig.
So here's Revere. A walk his first time up. And Iglesias with the delivery. That's a pitch that misses, ball 1.
Looking forward to seeing Jorge Soler in that new Kansas City uniform. Now that Terry is free reign, the opportunity is right in front of him.
Yeah,
and because of the long-term deal that he signed, Kansas City has no worries about any contract issue with Soler for the upcoming years.
That's right.
It's like a 9-year deal.
I guess one guy they have some contract concerns with is Lorenzo Cain, who is saying right now, I want a multi-year contract with the Reds, or with the Royals, I should say. And whether or not that's going to play out, I guess only time will tell.
Well, they have some other guys that they would consider even trying to talk into a long-term deal. Ahead of Lorenzo Cain, I'm guessing.
There's a cut and a miss by Revere. Good off-speed pitch, and Iglesias fastball, very good slider, curveball. He'll sink his fastball. He throws a fork ball. That's his changeup. And here's his next pitch. Tapped softly on the right side. Peraza has another play, and that was an easy play to end the inning. He fielded the ball off Espinosa's bat and Revere's bat, and the Angels go down quietly. 3 infield groundouts to end the inning. 5th inning is coming up, and right now 4-3 in favor of Cincinnati on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Angels will make another pitching change. Pitcher number 4 of the day. And Manny Banuelos will get ready for his second appearance this spring. And the first one was a start he had for the Angels not too long ago. Banuelos in 2 innings has yet to allow a hit. No runs. 3 walks. No strikeouts. So he replaces Guerra. And Deolis Guerra last inning. Scoreless, hitless inning of work for the Angels with 1 walk. 5th inning. And right now the Reds, who have been on top the whole ball game, lead at 4-3.
Well, so Banuelos should provide the Angels at least a stretched out version of a reliever here, as he was a starter. Start over in Sloan against the Cubs, and he worked out of trouble. And eventually got out for a couple of walks, got to the innings, double play, comebacker, and a guy that just could not hide, Terry, how thankful he is for this other opportunity after battling so much as a highly rated prospect through the Yankee system for years.
So his first pitch here on Zach Cozart, it misses for ball 1. It's 1 ball, no strikes. Angels signed Banuelos to a minor league deal. He's a non-roster invitee. Braves released him last August, and the Angels wasted a little time when they signed him after he was released by Atlanta. It's a pitch that misses outside. It's 2-1. He'll throw the fastball top out around 93. Has a slider, a good curveball, good changeup. He'll sink his fastball as well. And the 2-1 lined into right field. It's going to fall in for a leadoff hit. So Cozart on for the 2nd time today. And the next batter will be Suarez. Enio Suarez will be the batter. Fans, don't forget, if you have a group of 20 or more interested in experiencing Angels baseball, receive group pricing as low as $8 per seat. Call 714-4-ANGELS or visit angels.com/groups for more details. And here's the pitch. Big cut and a miss by Suarez. Jose, I know you'll be peeling off from our broadcast here for, well, we'll see how long it turns out to be. And Mark Ubisow is going to be here beginning tomorrow.
Gooby is on his way.
Broadcast. He's driving in on the 10 as we speak. He's heading east on the 10. The pitch. That's a little pop-up on the right side. Yeah, Gooby checked in. He said, I have you guys on.
Doing some scouting.
Yep.
So we'll be in good company. I'll be peeling off, as he mentioned, work for the MLB Network and partnering up with Gary Thorne, longtime broadcaster. So Gary and I have been paired up in WBC now for pretty much every single one of those events in different venues. But going to Mexico, we'll see Venezuela with Miguel Cabrera and company, Felix Hernandez. See Team Puerto Rico, Team Italy. And of course, Team Mexico.
How about the Puerto Rican team? Are the Molinas involved in that team at all?
Jose Molina is one of the coaches.
There you go.
For manager Edwin Rodriguez.
Here's the 1-0 delivery. This is Schebler at the plate. He takes that one, and it evens up the count 1-1. Schebler tripled a couple of innings ago with 2 outs, and then came in on a 2-out RBI double by Dilson Herrera.
In fact, the World Baseball Classic begins tomorrow morning. That's Pool A at Seoul, South Korea. Chinese Taipei, Israel, Korea, and Anderton Simmons and the Netherlands tomorrow morning. Tuesday, Australia, China, Cuba, and Japan playing at the Tokyo Dome. In Miami, Canada, Colombia, Dominican Republic, and the U.S. kicks off on Thursday. Also along with Mexico, with Italy, Mexico, Puerto Rico, and Venezuela.
2-1 delivery on Schebler was pitched and missed for ball 3. It's 3-1. 4 runs, 7 hits for Cincinnati. The Angels 3 runs on 3 hits.
Hoping, Terry, for a good showing by the U.S. team, especially as the tournament advances.
And here's the next pitch. It's chopped on the right side, fumbled by Espinosa, and by the time he tries to flip the ball over to first, it gets there too late. Well, Danny Espinosa, the last couple of innings, having a little defensive issues. He might be saying, man, I should have kept that beard on.
There's that beard. That was my protector. That was my shield. He's playing shaded towards left in that hole. He gets in that knee, and that one knee, perhaps the front knee, is the right knee, with maybe just to not allow him to get his glove in a good position.
Well, I think he was clearly thinking 2 there, and maybe just kind of took the eyes off the ball a little bit in his haste to try and start a possible inning-ending double play. Instead, an error, 2 on, 1 out. Herrera is the batter, and he's already had a pair of hits. He scored a run, driven in a run. He takes ball 1, 1-0. And here's the next pitch, and that one is a little bit low. 2 balls and no strikes. Espinosa has now committed 3 errors in 4 games, and that you wouldn't expect that. He's known as a very solid defender.
That'll come with time. I'm not too worried about that. Making the transition to second base. And as the Angels took a lot of pride in signing players and bringing in players that are going to be huge in the run prevention department. Espinosa, Maben, Revere, Martin Maldonado lined up with Calhoun and Trout, of course. And Anderton Simmons.
3-0 delivery taking all the way Herrera, and that one's in there for a strike. 3-1. After Herrera, they have Jesse Winker, the left fielder, waiting on deck. And the pitch, a lazy fly ball lifted into center field. Trout will make the catch, tagging at second, and moving on to third will be Cozart. It's out number 2. They have him at the corners, and Walos has a chance to get out of trouble if he can get the Reds left fielder.
It took well executed changeup there by Bañuelos to get Dilson Herrera to not score the baseball. You've been 2 for 2 and 2 solid line drives. One off of Richards, pulled down the third base side, and another one doubled down the line against Alvarez, also down the third base line, the lefty.
Winker is a former first-round pick of the Reds back in 2012, 49th player selected overall in that draft. And the next delivery chops that one on the right side. It's going to roll through into right center field for an RBI hit. The other runner breaks for third and gets there safely on Winker's second hit of the day. And now the Reds lead gets a little bit bigger. It's 5-3, so that'll be an unearned run, but still on the board, and the inning isn't over yet.
Quickly find out, even in spring training, you don't make plays, you don't close out innings, and the opponents will take advantage of it. Big league level. Hungry players, astute players, going to go out there and try to maximize when you put your head down. And for Winker, he's showing a nice approach at the plate. Spread out to the stands, able to cover the outer half, turning well in the inner half, and going right through the box on that one.
So here's Jennings, and he takes that one outside for a ball. 8 hits now in the game for the Reds. They've had a couple here in the inning and the unearned run. Here's the next pitch, and that's fouled back behind the plate. So the count even. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. And Wheelos, who pitched briefly in the majors for the Atlanta Braves back in 2015, working here for the Angels. And the next delivery, it's chopped right to short. Pennington flips to Espinosa. They easily get the force out on Winker, and that'll end the inning. But the Reds do get a run, and they did it with a pair of hits, 1 error. And in the inning, they will end up leaving runners on base. We are headed now to the bottom of the 5th, 5-3 Cincinnati on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. First batter up for the Angels as we start the bottom of the 5th inning is catcher Carlos Perez. And Raisel Iglesias is set for inning number 2. And the pitch, that one is right in there for a called strike.
A lot of gesturing from Iglesias after he makes a pitch there in corrections, or maybe perhaps things he likes, but see him gesturing with his arm, pointing to his leg, hands, everything.
There's a chopper hit on the third base side. It's stopped by Suarez, and the throw is in time. They get Carlos Perez for the first out. So Iglesias has retired 4 in a row. He's facing his 5th batter now in Pennington, and all the outs so far have come on the ground.
Iglesias likes his reminders. Still tough to square the baseball against him, especially now that he's become more of a strike thrower. And changing the angles with some decent velocity, which you have to respect.
There's a pitch a little low. Oh, he has some checkpoints, Jose, that he's trying to cross off out there on the mound.
Like that.
Yep.
Seemed like the throwback from the catcher hurt his hand. Even that's a checkpoint. Took his glove off to shake it off.
Here's one a little bit low. 2 balls and no strikes. And here's the next one on Penny. Hits one low liner that's caught by Cozart, the shortstop. So one shortstop retires another, as crouching to make the grab on that one was Zach Cozart. That's the 2nd out. The Angels haven't got the ball out of the infield so far against Iglesias. Top of the order now. Here's Escobar. Escobar got his 2nd hit this spring. His last time up, he singled back in the bottom of the 3rd and scored on Calhoun's 2-run homer. There's one that's low and outside.
Escobar was talking before the game today with the reporters about some of the mistakes he made on the bases last year, and how, of course, Mike Scioscia and the staff have addressed some of those things, and sometimes just being way too aggressive on the bases. And he played with a bad knee last year, which is costly to him sometimes in his lateral movement on the defensive side. But he goes, hey, they've been pointed out. I made some mistakes. I'm going to learn from those things, but I also have to know and be smarter as to when to stop or when to try to force the issue and take the extra base.
Here's the next pitch, and that one is lifted foul down the right side. Gave it a pretty good ride, but foul ball.
At times, Terry, it was like no need to be going, and he was out by a mile. Said lesson learned, but he goes, I do like that the Angels push the issue on base running. I enjoy that.
Here's the pitch, and Escobar takes that one low and away.
It's a good battle of Cubanos here. Now Escobar, unlike Iglesias, he was not one of these big bonus babies coming out of Cuba himself.
Here's the 2-2, and it's a high fly ball lifted into center field. Waiting for it to come down is Jennings. He'll squeeze it, and the Angels go down 1-2-3 here in the bottom of the 5th. 6th inning right around the corner, and at the moment 5-3 Cincinnati on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Here in inning number 6, Manny Banuelos will get set for his second inning. Gave up an unearned run last inning. The Angels down 5-3. And Tucker Barnhart will lead things off. He's been on base a couple times. Couple of RBIs for him. Those came on his single back in the second inning, and the pitch, and that's a called strike. Mentioning Barnhart, he's catching for the Reds, and he was in 115 games for them. They're hoping, Jose, as you're well aware, that Devin Mesoraco returns. Here's a high fly ball lifted into right field that Cole Calhoun tracks under. He'll squeeze it. That's the first out.
Definitely a welcome sight for the Reds. 2014 All-Star catcher Devin Mesoraco close to game action after facing some Reds pitchers at batting practice. He says his bat speed is increasing and very happy about how things are progressing. Just imagine, Terry, May 2016 he had an operation to repair torn labrum left shoulder, labrum surgery in July on his right hip, and he had already had labrum surgery on his left hip in June of 2015. And Mesoraco, who signed a multi-year deal after stellar seasons at All-Star, has only caught 18 games in the last 2 seasons combined.
Yeah, and they thought he was going to be a fixture behind the plate, and rightfully so after being an All-Star in 2014, but he just can't find the field right now. He's yet to play in any of their Cactus League games, but they're hopeful that somehow, some way, he's going to bounce back. There's a pitch, it's high. 1-2 the count.
They need his leadership. They need his bat. Got it cranked out 25 home runs, 80 RBIs back in 2014. 359 on base percentage.
There's a bouncer right back to Banuelos off the bat of Dixon, and his throw will easily get him. So 2 quick outs. And the next batter will be Peraza. Peraza today batting for the 4th time. He's gone 0 for 3 as their leadoff man. And this guy turned out to be a pleasant surprise for them last year after he came over from the Dodgers. Hit .324 in 72 games, and he can run. He had 21 stolen bases last year.
21 stolen bases and under 300 at bats. He had 346 in September, and they said we found what we needed, and now we really feel more comfortable trading Brandon Phillips.
Yeah. Here's the next pitch, and this is going to be a fly ball hit into right center that Trout is calling for. He'll make the call and catch with Calhoun not too far away. And a quick, clean inning for Banuelos as he sets him down here in the 6th. The bottom of the inning is right around the corner. The Angels down by Pirates 5-3 Cincinnati on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Reds have a new pitcher in the ball game, and they've moved some other players around as well. Jimmy Herget is the new pitcher. He was an A-ball last year and had a very good earned run average, 1.78. He was a very slender right-hander. So Herget is set, and the first delivery, that one is a pitch that is taken at the plate, is Cole Calhoun.
Terry, there's no contesting this one from you because he is 155 pounds at 6'3".
Wow. 155 they have him at?
Listed as 155.
Wow, I mean, he's as skinny as a rail. He's like a toothpick out there.
Jimmy Matthew Herget.
Wow, wait.
Of the University of South Florida.
So he's set. And here's, well, he was ready to come in. Time had been called by the home plate umpire, Jim Wolf.
It would have been fun to see if the next guy they throw out there is Jumbo Diaz.
Right.
Huh?
Yeah.
We go from like 155 to like 280.
Jimmy Herget is two. It takes two of him to be Jumbo Diaz. And I'm not kidding. Think about it. That would be 310 pounds, and that, hey, that might be less than what Jumbo Diaz weighs. 3-1 is the count. Here's the reason why he's known as Jumbo Diaz.
And he's not hiding it either.
And here's the next pitch. That's hit well into center field. Going back and making the grab on it is the new center fielder. And that is Alcantara who puts that one right. There is Mendy Alcantara. So one out here in the Angels' bottom of the sixth inning. Here's Mike Trout, who's been pretty quiet so far today, 0 for 2.
Just missed one off the end of the bat in that first at bat where he flew out to deep left field. It appeared like that ball is going to travel a little bit more.
Herget, who's pitching, he replaces Iglesias, who retired all 6 Angel batters that he faced, and got 4 of them on groundouts. First pitch on Trout in there, and the next delivery, and that's in there as well.
Check out Mike Trout's multicolored bat here. How many layers are there? 3?
Yeah, looks like it. And the next pitch, Trout takes that one low and outside.
So Herget, 155, tall, slender, and he's got a little bit of the hesitation issue in the middle of his delivery. Really threw Trout off that last time, that last pitch.
Here's the next pitch, and that one a little bit high on Trout, 2-2.
Big arm for Herget, as they were talking about. There were 83 strikeouts in 60 2/3 innings last year.
And the next pitch, that one pitched low and away. He kind of slings it in there a little bit. He's kind of herky-jerky with that delivery. Might be tough picking up the baseball against him.
50 games all as a reliever last year in Daytona.
And here's the next one on Trout, and on the 3-2, it's low and inside, so Mike has a walk. Seen him do that a lot here in the early going in the Cactus League play. So the Angels have a base runner. The tying run coming to the plate. Maben will be stepping up. The bottom of the sixth inning. It's being brought to you today by our friends at Rotolo Chevrolet in Fontana. Rotolo Chevrolet is pursuing excellence every day. You can visit them at Rotolo.com. That's Rotolo.com. And a pickoff toss. Trout dives back to first base.
A distinguished college career for the pitcher Herget at the University of South Florida. In 303 innings, he allowed 10 home runs.
Pitch a little bit low on Maben, 1-0.
Collegiate career, 24-11, and an ERA of 1.96. When he was still a starting pitcher.
Here's the next delivery, and that is a pitch that misses a little bit low and away.
I don't think he's made back-to-back pitches, Terry, with the same delivery. He'll vary his timing, his load up, his arm angle, everything.
And there's one that's a little bit high and away, and the count goes to 3-0. Here's the 3-0 on Maben, and that's right in there for a called strike.
Hoping to see Cameron Maben put a charge on something here. Good hitters count.
There's a toss over to first, and diving back goes Trout.
Still trying to find the consistency, the approach, point of contact, and the comfort level to get those eyes trained and timed with his bat in the trigger points.
Here's the next delivery, and a cut and a miss. So another full count here. 3-2 is the count on Maben.
He took a swing looking at the Buttes. They're at 3-1. Located beyond the left field berm out there. A very busy berm, by the way, Terry, as you were talking about. Good attendance here today.
Yep. Should be getting that official figure here shortly. Maben taking a little time getting back in the batter's box. And we'll see what gives once everyone's set. Looks like the pitcher Herget is ready, and before he comes to the plate, he will throw over to first base, and Trout dives back safely.
He had Mike Trout leading there 3-2. Trout had a very good lead. Saying that he would like to steal around 40 bases this year.
Here's the next delivery, and that one is fouled off on the left side. So the count 3 balls and 2 strikes. So full count. And there goes Trout, and the pitch is missed. The strikeout. The throw to second is offline. That'll be an easy stolen base, as it turns out, for Mike Trout. So he's at second, but Maben a strikeout victim for the second time today. Espinosa will be the next batter.
A good lead, even on a 3-2 count, where Trout is not getting the best of jumps, waiting and making sure that pitch is going home. He gets the stolen base.
So Trout's first steal this spring. And now we'll see what Espinosa can do here against Herget.
And for Maben, Terry, trying to find all the things I was talking about. Timing, trigger points, stride, contact, coordination. Not the easiest thing to find with a guy throwing in so many different ways.
One ball, no strikes to count.
Tony Espinosa with surprising power. He can really sky the baseball. He can put on a show in batting practice with the best.
There's a pitch high and outside. The Reds here this inning have brought in a lot of the players that traveled for this ball game. A number of them from minor league camp. They have Patrick Kivlahan at first base. Tony Renda is playing third base. Philip Irvin is the left fielder. Here's a pop-up into shallow center field. And left center coming in, making the grab is Alcantara. Mendy Alcantara came in this inning, and that's how the inning will end. So the Angels leave Trout at second, and we are getting ready to head to the seventh. And as we go there, it's still 5-3 in favor of the Reds on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Angels make a lot of changes here as we get ready to go to the 7th inning, and the new Angel first baseman is Matt Thaiss. New second baseman is Ray Navarro. New third baseman is Caleb Cowart. The new shortstop is Matt Williams. The new center fielder is Michael Hermosillo. The new right fielder is Ramon Flores. And the Angels also have a new pitcher on the mound. And taking over for the Angels out there on the mound is Vicente Campos. So we are ready to go here in the 7th inning, and the first delivery, that one is a ball. The count 1 ball and no strikes. The first batter up here for the Reds, hitting for the first time in the ball game, is Zach Vinci. He took over at shortstop last inning. And the next delivery, that's ball 2. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Let's pause for stations to identify themselves on the Angels Baseball Radio Network. Next delivery, it's fouled back by Vinci, back behind the plate, just over the screen, out of the reach of Carlos Perez, who's still in the ball game for the Angels, and the count is now 2 balls and 1 strike.
Vicente Campos, good arm, slider, changeup. He is Kelvin Escobar's nephew, former Angel right-hander. Listen and watching to this game in Venezuela. And Campos trying to get himself straightened out. First time out, he gave up a long home run to Addison Russell.
Here's the next pitch. That's low and outside.
They just have high hopes as they have added a lot of depth to their pitching staff and rotation, especially. Thinking about the arms they need to have available throughout the season in the minor leagues.
Here's the next delivery, and that's lined into left field, so that's going to fall in for a base hit. So Vinci singles his first time up today. Tony Renda is going to bat. He came in the game in the last inning defensively at third base, so this is his first time up today. Right-handed batter. He's hitting out a Suarez spot. He was 0 for 3. And the first pitch, it's a strike. The count 0-1. We'll give you Banuelos's numbers in just a moment. And a toss over to first base. Back to the bag goes Vinci. Manny Banuelos worked 2 innings today for the Angels. He gave up 2 hits, a run. It was unearned, and no walks, no strikeouts.
Much better performance in terms of the command.
Here's the next pitch, and this one is hit well into left center field. Hermosillo is going back, and that ball out there in left center is gone. Renda has homered. So a couple of the new players in the lineup for the Reds contributing right away. Their first time up. Single and a 2-run homer, and the Cincinnati lead grows. It's now 7-3.
Well, Campos aimed the home run ball again. They're finding the ball off of his hand, easy to see, and of course he does not have the zip that is expected out of him throughout the regular season. Plus, he's been up in the zone, and these Reds hitters, like Chicago White Sox yesterday, are not wasting anything that's around the belt.
First homer of the day for the Reds. And this is Aquino batting. He came in to play right field for them. Aristides Aquino at the plate. 0-2 is the count, and here comes the next delivery. That's low and outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We'll check out some action around the Cactus League and the Grapefruit League for you in just a moment. And this one's 7-3 Reds. We're in the 7th, and the next delivery, that's low. Sun is no longer peeking out. The cloud cover a little thicker right now.
It's been great. Nice cool afternoon here in Tempe. It's a warm one yesterday over in Glendale.
Here's the next pitch. That one is low, and chasing it is Aquino. Struck him out, so that'll be the first out. Yeah, I thought heard today a little bit later on this week it's going to expected to get up to about 88 degrees here in the valley, so things are going to warm up.
Get back to normal pretty much for spring training. Always face the cooler weather early part of the spring, some rain. A couple of years ago we had snow here, Terry. Snow in the Valley of the Sun.
No balls, 1 strike is the count. Dilson Herrera is about the only regular still in the lineup for them. He's their DH today. He's batting again, and he lines this one right at Caleb Coward, and he's retired for the second out. He couldn't hit the ball any harder, but it goes right to the Angels' third baseman. So 2 are gone.
CZ Campos is a work in progress in putting together the body and the mechanics, and the fact that he is a guy that finally last year was able to pitch on a regular basis after many issues with injuries to his arm.
And batting for the first time today is Phillip Ervin, and the first pitch on him is in there for a called strike. He's a right-handed batter. Up from their minor league camp, that pitch is taken. It's in there for a called strike. 0-2 is the count on Ervin. He's hitting here for the Reds out of Winker's spot. Winker had a couple of hits and drove in a run, scored a run. 7 runs, 10 hits for Cincinnati. The Angels 3 runs, only 3 hits. Here's the 0-2, and that's low and outside. Cactus League action, 5th inning. Cubs up on the Rangers 7-5. 7th inning, Brewers lead the Rockies 4-3. 8th inning, Giants lead the Royals 3-2. Pitch fouled off out of play. 6th inning, Indians lead the Padres 8-1. Mariners split squad trailing the Dodgers 4-3 in the 7th. The other Mariners split squad trailing the A's 4-3 in the 6th. D-backs lead the White Sox 2-1. That's in the 7th inning. Here's one that's bounced to third. Coward makes another stop. Throws over to first, and the inning is over. So Ervin is set down, and that'll do it for the Reds. But in the inning, they do come up with 2 more runs on the 2-run homer by Renda. And as we go to the bottom of the 7th and 7th inning stretch time, Cincinnati on top 7-3 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Friends, don't forget, register your little angel for the 2017 Junior Angels Kids Club for only $18. Members receive 4 ticket vouchers, a t-shirt, a coupon for a free large pizza, and more. It's presented by Papa John's. Visit angels.com/Junior Angels for more info. There's a new pitcher in the game for the Reds. And taking over their 4th pitcher of the day, Nick Rout, R-O-U-T-T. He is a lefty, and the first pitch, that one misses for ball 1 on Ray Navarro, who is batting for the first time today. He's hitting out of Marte's spot. Jeffrey went 1 for 2 with a home run today. Here's the pitch, and that one on Navarro is ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Haven't seen a whole lot of Ray Navarro so far this spring, and as he digs in, the bat for Navarro, just his 4th this spring, 1 for 3, and he lifts a fly ball to left field. Circling under is the left fielder. It's Irvin, and he'll make the catch on that one for the out. Nick Rout, who's pitching, replaces the slender Jimmy Herget, who retired 3 or 4 batters last inning. A scoreless, hitless inning with a walk and a strikeout. A number of these players in the ballgame for the Reds who are getting a chance to see some action right now. Players from their minor league camp, not necessarily rated in, say, the top 30 or so prospect list of the Reds. So this has to be a thrill for a lot of these guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Get a chance to play with a big league team, get some innings under your belt. Surprise here and there. Remember, you don't have to be a top prospect to come in this season and have an impact on the team.
Yeah.
Get the right opportunity. The right break comes up. You're having a good season, good start in the minor leagues. There's a need for you in the hole coming up in the big leagues, and you could shine, prospect or not.
There's a pitch in there. Irvin, who's out in left field, would be regarded as maybe a top 20 prospect or so in the Reds organization. He's a former first-round pick of theirs. And Aquino, who is in right field for them, young Dominican player, fairly highly thought of prospect in their system. 2-2 the count. Ben Revere has gone all the way so far today in left field for the Angels. This is his 3rd at bat of the day, walking a ground out. And here's the next pitch from Rout, and that is low and away. It misses. 3-2. See what gives on the payoff pitch as the left-hander delivers, and it's chopped right to the shortstop. That is Vincey. He struggles with that one and boots it and doesn't get a throw to first base. So that's an error all the way on the Red shortstop, their first error of the day.
A little trouble coming in and positioning his feet, coordinating every step to find the right hop. And eventually the glove was not in a good position for Vincey to go out there and scoop it out and start with the glove down, work your way up. We have somebody as fast as Revere getting down the line. That could serve as another distraction to a young infielder.
So at the plate now for the Angels is the catcher Carlos Perez. He's gone all the way. This is his 3rd at bat, and the first pitch is right in there for a called strike.
Here we have Motor Mondays tomorrow with Cam Bedrosian making an appearance.
Wow.
And Cam has not made an appearance here for the Angels, but he's on the mend. Saw him today working hard to get back on the mound.
Well, maybe you could address that issue tomorrow on Motor Mondays.
And he will.
Yeah.
It's our Twitter chat. Jose Mota 05. That's the Tyler Skaggs will have a nice video message to all of you.
There's a pitch that's high. Runner breaks for second. Throw to second base, and it's late. That's going to be a stolen base for Ben Revere. So he was on the move. How many followers do you have these days, Jose, on the Twitter account? I know it's got to be thousands.
Sure. Probably in the 15 range, something like that.
15,000 followers.
Right around there, I think.
1 ball, 1 strike, the count.
You know who wants to jump in one of these days? He told me his former Angel Hector Santiago. So of course. Wow. Maybe he'll ask Cam Bedrosian a question tomorrow.
How about that? And the pitch. That's hit well down the left field side, but that one is going to push foul down in the corner.
I believe Hector was making a start today for the Twins.
Yeah, Hector is, you know, a big piece of the Twins rotation this year. It's going to be interesting to see if that team can turn things around.
Put it together.
Rough year last year for Minnesota. Seven-3. It's the Reds on top as the Angels bat here in the bottom of the 7th. And the next delivery, it's chopped to the shortstop again. This one fielded by Vinci, and he has no trouble with it. Looks the runner back to second and throws out the batter Perez. 6-3 ground out. 2 gone. Caleb Coward is the hitter. He's hitting out of Pennington's number 9 spot. And Penny today went 0 for 2. Coward in Cactus League action, 3 for 13. 1 run batted in. Route is set. Here's the pitch. And that is a pitch that missed inside.
So let's finish off with Hector. Terry still has many followers in the Southern California region. Good outing today for Santiago. 2 2/3, 2 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. And Minnesota's win 4-2 over the Washington Nationals.
There's the pitch, and that's on the outside corner. I know before the Angels dealt Santiago, certainly his name was kind of floating in the trade rumor mill last year going into the trade line, but that was a deal that the Angels announced right about at the wire.
Yes, they did.
And I think Hector probably thought, well, I'm safe. I'm not going to go anywhere.
Right.
And lo and behold, just before the deadline, that's when the Angels made that deal and get Ricky Nolasco and Alex Meyer in that trade.
Yeah, terrific returns. Alaska pitched very well, and Meyer continues to progress and shows a lot of promise. Joe Smith also was traded at the last minute to the Cubs. Salas to the Mets.
There's a high fly ball lifted into right center field. Camping under is the center fielder Alcantara. Will put it away. Coward is retired, so are the Angels here in the 7th. So the 8th is coming up in Tempe, and right now the Angels need some runs, trailing the Cincinnati Reds 7-3 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Fans, don't forget you can host a business function or celebrate a special occasion in your own private suite at the Big A. Suite rentals offer all-inclusive food and beverage packages. Visit angels.com/suites to reserve your suite today. Now the Angels make some changes as far as the battery is concerned. The new pitcher is Jose Valdez. The new catcher is Jose Briseño. And right alongside me is Jose Mota.
Your new analyst also came in.
A lot of Jose's floating around here right now.
Just keep us where we are. It's okay.
All right. Let's move on to the 8th inning here. It's 7-3 in favor of the Reds.
You want to see an Arizmendi? There you have it. How many times have you called it Arizmendi?
Well, the times we've seen him represent the Reds, I guess, in the past, and he chops the ball right to second. That's Ray Navarro there, and he will throw out Arizmendi Alcantara for out number 1. So Jose Valdez takes over for Vicente Campos, and Campos worked last inning. He gave up 2 hits, including the homer to Renda. A couple runs were earned, no walks, 1 strikeout. And as Valdez works, he's pitcher number 6 of the day for the Angels.
Every time you say the Jose Valdez, start thinking about a good cup of coffee. But it's Juan Valdez.
That's right.
Let's connect it, though. Why not? Jose Valdez. Get some good cafe.
Today's attendance, 5,405. 5405. Joe Hudson is batting now for the Reds, and he fouls that one off on the right side, backing out of play. So Hudson is batting out of Barnhart's spot. And with that said, the Reds will have to go with the new catcher. And it'll probably be Hudson. That's the position he plays. No balls, 2 strikes to count on the pinch hitter. Here's the pitch, and that one is ball. He checks the swing on and fouls it off. As Valdez works for the Angels, Jose Valdez this spring is appearing in game number 3. And he's worked a pair of scoreless innings. He also has a save.
Trying to smooth out, not overthrowing. Mike Scioscia said, hey, I'll take 94-95 from you, but you don't have to be 97-99.
Next pitch, that's lifted in the air into right. Ramon Flores is out there for the Angels, and he will make the catch on that one. And that's the second out.
Well, you take 97-99 with command, but that was the idea for Mike Scioscia himself, watching him throw bullpens in the early sessions here in camp. Just find the zone, hit 94-95, movement. The ball runs naturally when he starts in the inner third. With a pretty decent slider, just has to go out there and control his body and make it all look the same. Has a tendency to slow down his arm when he's throwing sliders.
Batter now is Patrick Kiblahan. And the first delivery on him is in there for a strike. This is his first time up. He's taken over at first base for the Reds. And the next delivery, he drives the ball into center field. Hermosillo has a long run. He's chasing hard. He dives and he can't make the catch. The ball rolls out to the warning track. And this is going to end up being a triple. Is going in the third, and then jamming on the brakes at the last minute is Kiblahan. You kind of thought he was thinking maybe inside the park home run on that one, but they'll end up with a 2-out triple.
Well, we saw it yesterday from the White Sox. Inside the park, a clean hit to the opposite field, and the fielder Cleat got caught on the fence. Different story here. This ball hangs and hangs, but also as it hangs, it continues to carry and fade away from Hermosillo.
Kiblahan, who just got that triple, saw some action with the Reds and the Padres last year. Just 8 games in the majors. He was claimed off waivers from San Diego last September. And there's the pitch that's in there for a called strike. And this is the next batter stepping up. Irabaran. And the pitch. He takes that one for a called strike. This is the leadoff spot in the Reds batting order that Peraza occupied. He went 0 for 4. Count is 0-2 on Hernan Irabaran. Here's the next pitch, chopped on the right side. Let's see if it can be handled by Navarro. It is. He will field and throw, and he gets the batter running to first base to end the inning. So in the 8th, they got the 2-out triple, but they leave the runner on at 3rd. Bottom of the 8th is coming up. Angels down 7-3 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. New pitcher for the Reds is Tyler Mahle, and he is the younger brother of Angels reliever Greg Mahle. In the case of Tyler Mahle, he is a right-hander. Greg Mahle of the Angels, a lefty. Tyler Mahle last season between A-ball and Double-A, 14-6 record. And he is one of the better pitching prospects in the Reds system right now. They picked him in the 7th round back in 2013. So Mahle is set, and the first pitch, that's a liner into left field by Matt Thaiss for a base hit. Boy, he was waiting on that pitch and drills it the opposite way for a leadoff single.
Quick response to a very challenging at bat yesterday for Matt Thaiss when he was fooling a lot of breaking balls. He sees a fastball, jumps right at it, and it's trying to just not trying to just pull the ball. He goes the other way early in the count.
So here is Hermosillo. This is his first time up. He's hitting out a Cole Calhoun spot. Right-hander against right-hander. That one is a strike on the outside corner. Tyler Mahle has a pretty good fastball. He's topped out in the past in the minors at 97 miles per hour.
And he has great command.
And the pitch, and that one is high, and a snap throw to first base, and getting back to the bag goes Thaiss over there.
One of those kids here that has put it all together. Even his debut when he played in the Arizona Summer League Reds right out of Westminster High School. In 34 1/3 innings. That was in 2013. Walked 8 batters, struck out 30. As he progresses, he's found a way to pound the zone. Good for a youngster.
Malley is ready, and the pitch, and a cut. 2. Tyler Malley last year pitching for Daytona in the Florida State League. He pitched a no-hitter, 9-inning no-hitter. Wasn't one of those double-header games that goes 7.
Right. His pitch count obviously had to be quite decent for any minor league manager to allow a prospect to go 9 innings.
Here's the next pitch, and that one is chopped foul.
Gary, as you know very well, you spent a lot of time in the minors, as I did. It doesn't happen very often that you see a guy get into the 8th or 9th inning starter.
And you know those starting pitchers love those double-header games in the minors that are 7 innings. They're thinking, hey, I can get a no-hitter today, and I only need 21 outs to do it.
You can go in a complete game.
Right. Here's one that's chopped on the right side. Could be 2. Flip to second. Relay to first. Not in time. So Hermosillo hustling to first base. Avoids being doubled up on the fielder's choice right there. They get the out on Theis at second for 6. That's out number 1 here in the Angels' 8th inning.
Gary, you can be a losing pitcher, go 6 innings, and get a complete game.
That's right.
In those games.
Yep. And it'll show CG on your line right there. No one will ever know you only got 18 outs.
It doesn't matter.
Yep. Here's Flores batting, first time up for Ramon Flores.
It matters only, Terry, when the minor league report goes into the big league office and they break it down and say, well, it wasn't a 9-inning complete game. So
all right,
let's keep that in mind.
1 ball, no strikes on Flores. He's hitting out a Trout spot. Mike was 0 for 2 with a walk this afternoon. And there's a pitch that's fouled back behind the plate. This bottom of the 8th inning being brought to you by Rotolo Chevrolet in Fontana. Rotolo Chevrolet, pursuing excellence every day. You can visit them at rotolo.com. That's rotolo.com. After the ball game today, we'll hear from Angels manager Mike Scioscia. Jose will join him down on the field. Angels trying to get some late inning runs here. Time running out. The Angels only have 5 more outs to play with, down 7-3 here in the bottom of the 8th. Greg Malley, the Angels left-hander, not slated to see action today. And as was the case, we saw Greg Malley pitch just a couple days ago, Friday, here at the Big A in relief against Milwaukee. One ball and 2 strikes, the count. And here's the next pitch. That's chopped on the first base side. It's a fair ball. To flip to second is just in time. No relay. It was a close play there at second base. Very close, in fact. And they just nipped Hermosillo. Flores is on the fielder's choice. 2 outs here in the Angels' 8th. 3-6 fielder's choice on that one.
A risky play by your first baseman. Kiblehan on that one. Hit very hard, but also you can see that perhaps in the regular season that play will be asked to be reviewed. It should be.
So here is Tony Sanchez now batting, and he's hitting out a Maben spot. Cam Maben was the DH and cleanup batter for the Angels today. He was 0 for 3. So the count, 1 ball, no strikes on Sanchez. Hasn't had too many at bats so far this spring for the Angels, and he cuts it down and fouls it off on the right side. He's gone 1 for 6 at the plate with a run batted in. One ball, 1 strike, the count. And there's a pitch a little bit low. Today in the Grapefruit League in Florida, Red Sox beat the Braves 11-1. Phillies split squad over the Tigers 8-5. Astros and Marlins played to a 7-7 tie. Twins beat the Nationals 4-2. Orioles beat a Phillies split squad 3-2. Yankees over the Pirates 3-2. The Yankees have played well so far this spring, 9-2 record. It was the Rays over the Blue Jays 5-3, and in a game where the ball was jumping out of the ballpark, the Cards and the Mets combined for 34 hits and 25 runs, and the Cards won that game 14-11. There's a bouncer that's just out of the reach of the shortstop, Vinci, and the Angels get a base hit right there from Sanchez and have runners at first and second.
Well, maybe a little nervous, but he is in the dugout. Greg Mahle is closely watching his brother. But usually you're going to see a reliever in the dugout this late, but there's a great reason. The brother, the blood is on the mound. Greg's probably a little nervous right now too. Terry, what do you think?
Well, I think to some degree there's some mixed emotions because you want your team to do well, but do you want your team to do well against your brother?
Exactly.
So,
That's a tough one.
Yeah. What do you do in that situation?
Certainly great to see the family support. There's many of them around here today too. The rest of the family.
Here's the pitch on its way. This is Matt Williams batting, and he checks the swing, and that pitch is in there on him for a strike. Williams so far this spring has had only 2 at-bats with no hits. He's batting out of Danny Espinosa's spot. Espinosa today was 0 for 3. A couple of errors for Espinosa.
And getting the kinks out.
And the next delivery, that's in there for a strike. So it's 0-2 on Matt Williams. Angels back in action tomorrow right here. The Chicago Cubs will be coming to town. Jesse Chavez against Jake Arrieta. Angels are off on Tuesday. And then we'll be in Goodyear on Wednesday and Thursday. The game Wednesday against the Reds, the game Thursday against the Indians, and then Friday of this week the Angels back home to take on the Padres. Angels and Dodgers this Saturday on the 11th, and then a couple days later on the 13th the Angels will host the Dodgers here in Tempe. Here's the next pitch. That's high. So it's a 2-2 count. No wind at all to speak of today here at Tempe Diablo Stadium. Those flags out in center field draped straight down. Next pitch will be the 20th of the inning for Mahle. Tyler Mahle of the Reds, and the next delivery checking is Williams. Did he go around on that? Yes, he did. That was a fastball, and he got him. That'll do it.
That's pretty good stuff right there to get out of the game.
Yep. So in the inning, the Angels had a couple of hits but failed to score, leave a couple of base runners in the inning, and we are now headed to the 9th, where the Reds have a 7-3 lead on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Angels have a new pitcher. Blake Parker will be taking over for the Halos, and Zach Vinci will be the first batter that he faces here as we go to the 9th inning. As Parker gets ready to bat, this is his 3rd appearance. He has a save, and so far this spring in 2 innings, he's given up 3 hits and a run. So he's ready, and here's the first pitch, and that is right in there for a called strike. Sherman Johnson has come into the game, and he is now playing in left field for the Angels. As Parker works here, he's replacing Valdez, who ended up pitching a scoreless inning, allowing 1 hit. That was last inning in the top of the 8th. Here's the next pitch. That's low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Parker taking some time between pitches as he gets adjusted on the rubber and ready to come in with the next delivery. From the stretch, here it comes, and a little bit, well, called a strike on that one. Looked like it might have been a little bit high, but he gets the call from Jim Wolf. So he's in front. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Vinci, who's had a single his only time up since coming into the ball game. Right-hander against right-hander, and we'll see what happens on the 2-strike delivery. Parker's pitch, and that one is a ball, and the count 1 ball, 2 strikes. Arsenio had that one pop away from him, the catcher. The Angels will not play the Reds during the regular season. We'll have 2 more Cactus League games against them. One we mentioned coming up on Wednesday, and then the other will be on Tuesday, March 21st here in Arizona. And there's a pitch that is going to get the first batter up in the inning. Vinci struck him out. So 1 away. Haven't had too many strikeouts from Angels pitchers today. The Angels have used 7 pitchers, just the 4th strikeout against the Reds batter, and 2 of them came in the very first inning against Garrett Richards. So Tony Renda is the batter. 2-run homer a couple of innings ago in the 7th, his first time up in the ballgame. And the pitch, he takes that one high and away. One ball, no strikes to count on Renda. Here's the next pitch, and it's a fastball that's right in there for a called strike. So Parker has evened up the count, 1-1. Renda trying to open up some eyes in the Reds camp. And the pitch, he lifts a high fly ball and hits it well into left center field. Sherman Johnson is chasing, also chasing, unable to make the catch on that one is Hermosillo, as he went diving there, and the ball took a bounce and hopped over the wall for a ground rule double. So Renda has shown some power here in his 2 at-bats since coming in. A 2-run homer and now a ground rule double. The Reds have another runner in scoring position. They've had a lot of them in scoring position today.
Yeah, the ball really jumps off of his bat. Not a long swing at all. And he does have a great finish with his 2 hands. And strong backside through his hips.
There's Aquino batting now, and he goes after the first pitch and chops that one foul right into his dugout. Stuart Turner is waiting on deck, so it looks like he's going to pinch hit for Herrera, who's had 4 at-bats as their DH today. A couple of hits for him. Here's the pitch. That's on the outside corner. It's a called strike, so the count jumps to 0-2. Well, the Angels, after having a lot of close games, in fact, all the games in the 7-game winning streak to start the Cactus League were wins for the Angels by 2 runs or less. But yesterday, the Angels were beaten soundly 10-2 and trailing this one 7-3. 9th inning. Here's the delivery, and that's low and outside. Tomorrow should be a fun day here at Tempe Diablo Stadium with the Cubs coming in. And they've really been drawing at their ballpark in Mesa. They've had a number of sellouts already, over 15,000.
Just imagine, Terry, the walk-up plus the following they have even now now that they're winners.
Right.
They had a great following when they had a tough time winning. It's just a terrific story for baseball.
The Reds finished 35.5 games behind the Cubs last year. 35.5 games behind them. Reds were 68-94 last year.
When you win 103, you are spreading the rest of the guys behind you very quickly and very early.
Here's one hit on one hop right to second. Stopped by Navarro. The throw will easily get Aquino on the play. Renda moves over to third, so that's the second out. And they will have Stuart Turner come in to pinch hit.
Look at the nice year the St. Louis Cardinals had. And how far they were from their division, but they were only a game away from making the playoffs as a wild card.
Yeah.
See what you can do, Stuart.
So here is Turner. First at bat for him. He was a catcher in the Red system. Played at Double-A Chattanooga last year. Hit .239. And the first delivery. That pitch is right in there for a called strike. Turner this spring with the Reds has had 8 at-bats with 4 hits. So he's made the most of his limited at-bats so far. Here's the next pitch, and a little bit low and away. It misses. 1-1 is the count. Blake Parker okays the sign from Briseño and ready to come in with the 1-1 on the pinch hitter, and that is a called strike. So it's 1-2.
Well presented there by Jose Briseño to home plate umpire Jim Wolf.
The Stuart Turner's pinch hitting is a Rule 5 draftee from the Twins. And so the Reds have to make a call on him as far as keeping him on their opening day roster. Here's the next pitch. That's low and outside. Some of it might have to do with how Mesoraco plays out things here this spring. If he's ready to be on their opening day roster, coming back from all his injury issues the last couple of years.
Well, Turner's in a good spot when it comes down to at least being given every single chance to stay on the roster somehow.
And he chops this one right to short, and it skips off the glove of Williams. That'll be an error all the way, and it's a third error today for the Angels. And a run will score on that one. That runner, Renda, scores from third base. That should have been the end of the inning. That was an easy play.
Parker made his pitch, and unfortunately, what appeared to be a pretty easy hop and a play that was going to be easily made. Seems like Williams overran that ball. Got him up the upper part of this glove.
So it's an 8-3 Reds lead here with 2 outs in the 9th inning. And Phillip Ervin is the batter, and that pitch is taken. It's in there for a called strike. Ervin last year in Double-A hit .239. He had 13 homers, and he also had 36 stolen bases. Right-handed swinger, and the next pitch that's low and outside. 1-1.
As we talk the Reds and talk speed, how about Mr. Billy Hamilton?
Yeah, certainly one of the better players for the Reds. He and obviously Joey Votto, neither one made the trip today.
Two guys they really need to have on the field, healthy and productive.
Here's the next delivery. That's lined down the left side. It's a fair ball. It's going to roll all the way down into the left field corner. They might get another run in. Going into third base, being waved around is Turner. Throw to the plate wide, so he'll score. And the batter, Irvin, ends up at third base. He'll get a double and a RBI on that one. Takes third on the throw to the plate. It's now 9-3 Cincinnati. Boy, Turner scored all the way from first base. The pinch hitter, who's a catcher, and boy, he looked like he might have been running out of gas and doing it.
He got it done. They show the Reds perhaps another aspect that they can find out from him. Terry, if they're going to keep him and get him some experience, can he help him maybe to even have to pinch run for one of their catchers at some point?
Yeah, a little more movement as far as personnel in game in the National League.
Absolutely.
And you have the pitcher batting, and you're going to pinch hit and do some double switches, and that's certainly part of the strategy in NL games.
Yeah, keep that flexibility and versatility on that bench. Help yourself by having a couple of tools that perhaps can keep you on the team.
Alcantara is the batter with the runner at third. A pair of unearned runs here in this inning against Blake Parker. And here's the next delivery. That's low. It goes by the catcher Bursenio, and that's going to score another run. So now it's 10-3. And Angels a little bit sloppy in this inning.
The last three games, the Angels on the defensive side have come up short. And here's one where I know Bursenio will love to get back because he knows very well, with all the work he's put in it, not just with the Angels, as the catcher who's played more than 7 years in the minor leagues. That ball needed to be stopped.
So in this inning, an error scored a run. Now a wild pitch scores a run. All the runs are unearned in the inning, but it's now a 10-3 Cincinnati lead. One and two is the count on Alcantara. 10 runs, 13 hits for the Reds, 3 runs, 5 hits for the Angels. Next pitch popped foul left side. That's backing out of play.
He was a young player that a couple of years ago with the Cubs, they thought he was going to be one of those guys, kind of a Sean Figgins type player who could be in the lineup every day and insert him at third, at second, and the outfield.
Saw him a little bit last year with Oakland, and that's how the Reds got him off the waiver wire in the offseason. Pitch is low on him, and now it's a 2-2 count. Three-run inning and a 7-run Cincinnati lead here in the ninth. And the next pitch hit high in the air and hit pretty well down the right field side. Chasing out there in right and dropping the ball is Flores. And heading into third base and getting there easily will be the batter Alcantara. Well, that was not a good play at all in right field by Ramon Flores, who dropped that one. And Angels manager Mike Scioscia is going out to the mound, and I don't know if we're going to have a pitching change here or if Mike just wants to try and get things straightened out. He is going to make a pitching change, and that's going to be it for Parker. So a tough day for him. The Angels giving away a lot of outs in this inning, and we have a break in the action. A pitching change coming up here in the ninth. It's 10-3 Reds on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. New Angel pitcher is left-hander Chris O'Grady. So he replaces Parker. And tough day for Blake Parker. He just did not get solid defense turned behind him here in this inning. He gives up a total of 2 hits right now. 3 runs are all unearned. Struck out a batter, didn't walk any. And O'Grady's first pitch as he faces Hudson, and that one is a ball. The count 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count.
As far as former A's are concerned, Terry, you have a greeting from Florida from Juan Gratterall, who's watching this game. Wow. Over in the Blue Jays camp.
Are we on the MLB network right now?
He found you, Terry.
There you go.
Juan Gratterall found you.
Here's the next pitch, and that one is high. O'Grady, who's pitching for the Angels. We've seen him a little bit this spring, and the Reds are familiar with him because he was actually their property this time back in the spring of 2015. He was a Rule 5 draftee that they got from the Angels, and then he had to make their club that year, the start of the 2015 season, and they offered him back to the Angels, and so he does have a tie-in, if you will, to the Reds.
But Andon continued his year and pitched winter ball this year in the Dominican Republic.
And O'Grady on a 3-1 pitch has walked Hudson. So this inning is just kind of crawling along right now. A couple errors in the inning. A wild pitch bringing in a run. Now a walk in the inning. And getting ready to bat now is Patrick Kivlehan, who has seen some action here. He's had an at bat. He doubled his first time up. Pat Williams had gone back to the dugout. I think he might have changed gloves. And there's a pitch that is taken, and it's in there for a strike. 0-1 to count.
All you're asking here is Angel staff member, somebody just catch the baseball, make a play. Seriously, I mean,
yeah.
And as a young player, been there before, Terry, you're like so scared of making the next mistake.
Right.
You are.
Well, as it turns out, the Angels have given away outs here. They're in an inning where basically they're having to get 6 outs.
I mean, Williams and then the ball by Flores dropping. You want to just dig a hole right there.
There's one fouled back to the screen. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Not to say it's any easier for an established player, but when you're a young player getting a chance at this level here in camp is like, oh, goodness.
O'Grady in limited action with the Angels this spring is appearing in his 2nd game. He came into the action having pitched a scoreless inning. 2-2 is the count. Infield is back. Outfield not very deep at all.
It seems like a while back, but Garrett Richards did start this game for the Angels.
He did?
Yes, he did. Good to see G-Rich back on the mound, even though not the cleanest of lines. All we wanted to see, and I'm sure everybody wanted to see in the Angels staff and medical staff, is for him to come out clean, threw the ball well, had extension, had a nice breaking ball, some command issues perhaps, but good to see him back on the mound. So now every Angels projected starter has made a start here in spring training.
Here's the 3-2, and it's fouled back to the screen, so we'll do it again with 2 outs. And let's pause for stations to identify themselves on the Angels Baseball Radio Network. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and that's chopped by the mound, and the inning will continue. That's going to be a base hit coming in, and scoring from third base will be Alcantara. And now it's 11-3 Cincinnati. Well, as we are well aware, Jose, you will have some games like this here in the Cactus. We pretty much had one just like it yesterday, for that matter. And when you have these kind of games, you want to be on the other side of them. If not, it's a situation where
It's torture.
it seems like the game will never end. 11-3 now, Cincinnati, and the pitch that's right in there for a called strike.
Yeah, when you're on the other side, red side right now, forget about it.
Oh yeah, and
Joyful young players making an impression, doing everything they can to keep the eyes open of people in the staff. But you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. But the one thing that perhaps is obvious is there are some things that need to get cleaned up.
1-1 is the count.
Ben Revere was talking to me about the playoffs, the environment of the playoffs that he's seen through the years. He goes, you know what? You catch the baseball because you're going to have your premier guys on the mound, right? Most likely, these guys are not going to last 2 or 3 innings. They're going to go, 6 or 7 innings. So low-scoring games. So he goes, to me, as Ben Revere expressed, defense plays such an important role that at times is so overlooked in baseball. Playoff games, you kick the ball around. Trust me, you're asking for a lot of trouble.
Oh, for sure. And there's a swing and a miss as the inning comes to an end. It was a 9-batter inning for Cincinnati, and they ended up scoring 4 unearned runs here in the ninth. So we're headed to the bottom of the ninth. Angels are down by 8 at the 11-3 Reds on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West.
Come on, Ray. Let's go, Ray.
Well, the Angels are getting ready to bat. Bottom of the ninth we go. It's the 11-3 Reds. And the first delivery, that's right in there on Ray Navarro. Navarro is facing Tyler Mahle, the younger brother of Angels reliever Greg Mahle. And here's the next pitch that's inside. It misses for a ball. Since coming into the ball game, Navarro's been up once. And he flied out to left field. Here comes the next pitch on him, and he cuts it that one and fouls it off on the left side. He's a switch hitter, native of Puerto Rico. Had some injury issues last season. Only played in 47 games in the Angels system with a couple of the Angel rookie clubs and also AAA Salt Lake. And the pitch, he takes that one for a ball. 2-2 the count. Jose is headed downstairs. He will visit with Angels manager Mike Scioscia right after the ball game. And And the next pitch bounced on the left side. The third baseman makes a nice play, Renda, and he will throw out Navarro for out number 1. 5-3 on the ground out. This is the spot that Ben Revere had. Sherman Johnson replaced him in the outfield, and this is Johnson's first at bat today. And for Sherman Johnson, swings from the left side. The first pitch, that one is a pitch he takes for a ball. The count, 1 ball, no strikes. Malley working fast, and the next pitch lifted in the air into shallow left field. Let's see who's going to call for it. It's his shortstop back on the outfield grass, and Vincey puts it away for the second out. So 2 quick outs here. Angels down to their final out of the ball game. Jose Briseño will be the next batter. He came in, replaced Carlos Perez. This will be his first time up. Carlos was 0 for 3 today. Briseño is a right-handed batter, and the first pitch, and that is in there for a called strike. He's had 4 at bats so far this spring with 2 hits. And the 0-1. That one check swing, and he was holding 1 ball, 1 strike. This is Malley's second appearance this spring. He really struggled in his first one for the Reds, giving up 3 runs, 2 earned in just 1 inning. But he has looked good today. Not a pair of hits, no runs, trying to complete 2 innings in this game. And the next delivery, it's a pitch taken for a ball. 2-1 the count. Here's the next delivery, chopped down to third. Nice stop by Renda. His throw a little bit high, but in time. And that is how the ball game will end. So the Angels